Alright guys, another car is getting delivered. I have the 2007 right here, and now a 2003 is getting dropped off. So coilover conversions is still, taking place, man. It's warm outside. It's feeling like summer, but it's still spring. But it's perfect weather. People are trying to get their SLs back on the road. So what is necessary oftentimes is getting this coilover suspension installed, getting rid of that ABC. So we have here another SL. Let's see what this bad boy looks like. Another silver one. Looks like it. Might be my first time actually seeing this one. What's up, y'all? All right, there it is. Let's take a look. How you doing, man? I have no idea what this car looks like. Okay. Now, I know the owner just bought this, so he hasn't even driven it yet. See some damage right there. See some paint work right here. All right. Has the newer tail lights. Nice wheels. Let's see. Huh. Okay. All right. Okay. Suspension sitting low, we can see that. Yeah, man. Alright, so this is an odd sound coming from this engine. Never heard this before. Never heard this before. Something's going on here. Either it's the motor or the exhaust. Now this is going to be interesting because I have no idea what I'm dealing with here. He sent this car to me for the suspension, but this motor doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound right at all. Doesn't sound right at all. I'm a little worried about this one, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. What in the world is going on here, guys? Do you hear this motor on this SL? From what I understand, the owner of this vehicle bought it relatively cheap and has not had the opportunity to drive it yet. Huh? Want me to drive this up there? Yeah, I got you. I got you. Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah. It's not supposed to sound like that, bro. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm doing the suspension work on it, but there's some other work, obviously, that needs to be done to it. All right, I'm about to move it. I'm about to move it up there. I got it. I got it. Let me get it out y'all way. The Zelle payment, did he already send it? He sent it? Okay, good. Good Lord. Check engine light, obviously. Check engine. It just sounds like it needs attention. Something's going on here. Does it have power? All right, some tapping. Noisy exhaust. What is that? It's not the exhaust. That's the motor or something in the front of that motor. Suspension is shot. It's bottoming out real heavy, real hard. I'm gonna pull it right here and park it. The suspension is done. Yeah. Suspension is done. This car sounds bad. Something else is going on here. Okay, now I just spoke to the owner to confirm delivery, and also to let him know about the sound that I'm hearing. And I'm assuming that it's the engine. He's saying that it's the ABC pump that is actually something associated with the pulley, which in this case is the ABC pump, not the engine. Which, like I said, is possible. I just have to verify that, I guess. You hear all that? I mean, that just sounds crazy. I guess that's the pump. I mean, he said it is. It's definitely coming from this area. It's coming from the front, and it's coming from the driver's side. So it might be what it is. Might be what it is. That ABC pump sounds horrible. That has to go. That has to go. The struts are bottomed out. It needs a grill. It needs some love. This bad boy needs some love for sure. But this is the first step, is getting rid of this suspension. Please, please. Guys, if you're having a hard time maintaining that ABC suspension, get rid of it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Do what you got to do, guys. This customer is doing what he has to do, and I'm here to help. I'm going to get it right. Now, regarding everything else, the cosmetic stuff, you know, he can just get that taken care of over time. But he got the car at a fair price. It does have a panoramic roof, the glass roof. That's pretty nice. I do like the tail lights. Nice little upgrade. All right, it has a spare. At some point, there's some water back here. Not much, but definitely some moisture, and it happens. This seal right here is already probably compromised, and so water can get down because of this seal, and it can drip down, and that's probably what happened. Like maybe some saturation around this cover that took place. That's common, unfortunately. It's been sitting for a while. You can see the dirt. Hey, what's up, man? UPS, hey, FedEx, UPS, they always come and dropping something off. All right, but yeah, the suspension shot. That sounds horrible. That repair, that can be taken care of. So it's just a bunch of cosmetic stuff. Oh, I gotta get that window rolled up. Hold on. I think this corner. I think the window needs to get rolled up dirty. All right, here we go. Very cool. What's that? The ESP light on? I don't know, something else. Thanks, man.
See that truck?
Yeah, what happened? He's struggling?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I can't believe they turned down here.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even have to. I'm wondering, do he know that he can go around a circle in order to get out instead of trying to back it all the way out? He's like cutting too close to that car on the corner. I don't know, he's struggling.
Yeah, he definitely did not know he could turn around and turn around.
What's he doing right now?
I think he's just trying to get out of here.
Just-
I think they made a wrong turn.
That's jacked up.
That's why people tell me I should get a feeder driver in the big semis. It's like, I don't want to be like that guy.
Yeah.
Don't stress me out just thinking about it.
Man. Take care, bro. Shoot. Good Lord. You know what? Let me go down here and just be a good neighbor and just make sure the owner of this vehicle is good. This yard that this vehicle is in front of, I guess it's her father's vehicle. She doesn't have a key, so we couldn't move it. Yeah. They could have just drove straight around into this circle. It's a big circle instead of backing all the way out. I don't know. Let me just make sure. Yeah, they're still trying to figure out how to get out of here. I don't know. Got a lot going on, man. That carrier is struggling down there. Golly. Well, the car is good, thankfully. He thinks it's the car, so that's good. Crazy. All right. Okay. So the car is okay. That was parked back there. I guess they're struggling to get out of here. You have to map the area before you pull such a transport vehicle onto a street. No, you have an exit plan, you know, an entrance plan and an exit plan. Make sure you don't get stuck. Never seen that happen before. As many cars have gotten delivered here. I don't know. Maybe they should have took my suggestion. Anyhow, yeah, so that car right there will be replacing this one once this is done. Now, again, this is from Mississippi. That's from Maryland. And the customer actually was waiting for the car to get delivered before he ordered the coilovers, which to me is not right, but that's what he chose to do. He wanted me to verify that it needed the ABC replaced, and it certainly does. So there's nothing that you can do to save that one. I'm not putting a new or replacement pump in there and then hoping that the struts work. Oftentimes when these cars have been driven like that, he doesn't even know. He bought it from a dealership, I think. So he has no idea how long it's been sitting, how long it's been operating with a bad suspension. So it's not worth investing thousands of dollars into trying to fix the ABC because you have no history of the ABC suspension. And oftentimes that's the problem with these SLs. You really don't know anything about them. You know what I mean? And you're just hoping that putting a new suspension, ABC, trying to keep it OEM, that it will be functional. But oftentimes you don't know until you know. By then you're mad because you put a whole lot of money into it. A car whose value is really not that high, where it makes sense. It's no longer a new vehicle. I don't care that it cost $100,000 when it was new. It doesn't cost that much now. You can get these cars for $3,000. So let's just be smart with the money that we spend on these vehicles. All right. More to come. Oh no, what do we have here, guys? We have a Mercedes SL500. You hear this noise? That's coming from that ABC pump, the active body control. This controls the hydraulic fluid suspension. The pump itself has failed. Now, some owners in this condition or in this predicament will simply replace the ABC pump. But you don't know what a failed pump has introduced into the closed ABC system. Possible metal shavings. It has failed internally. And what makes up a pump? A bunch of metal, right? And hydraulic fluid. And it creates pressure. And it pressurizes the suspension system. So what happens when that pump fails internally? It's no longer able to produce that pressure. Now in this case, it's making a loud noise. I haven't heard this noise before. I've seen a whole lot of failed ABC systems, but I've never heard this loud noise. It's coming directly from that pump. This car needs a lot of work, guys. You can see cosmetically some of the damage. This car has not been cared for the way that you would expect a Mercedes to be cared for. Yeah, this car needs a lot of work, guys. A lot of work. Now, he asked me, should he buy it? He didn't tell me everything that was wrong with the car, but he did say that the ABC was not working. Now, I cleared the red ABC light by removing the fuse. That showed me what was really going on with this car. He couldn't see this before he bought it. So let's just go through it. ESP. The battery that's in the front, that's what the alternator is supposed to be charging. It's either the front or the back. This car has two batteries. So maybe the alternator is not charging it. I know that both batteries were low. I had to jump the front one in order for it to start. The one in the back is the accessories. Low beam left, low beam front, right. License plate left side. Front left parking lamp. Your ABC, of course. Tire pressure is not reading. And the consumer battery, so the battery in the rear. Windshield washer fluid level. All right, so we have 10 malfunctions plus the check engine light. So this car came from Maryland. The owner called me up and said that he wanted to buy this car And he wasn't sure if it was a good buy or not. Now, I think they were asking way more for it than it was worth. Maybe in the 5,000 plus range, 6,000, I'm not sure. He got it for, I think under 4, maybe 3,500, something like that. But this car needs some work, guys. It needs some love. Is it done for? Is it repairable? Yeah, it's repairable. Is it done for? No, it can be repaired, but it's gonna take somebody who knows what they're doing. Now, I signed up for just the ABC suspension coilover conversion to pull this mess out and put in Silver's Neomax. But he wants me to see what else I can fix while I have it. I'm supposed to remove that ABC pump, put a standard power steering pump in, put adjustable coilovers in here, Silver's Neomax. But there's a lot of little things that this car needs. And well, if I'm going to be involved in this project, I have to be compensated. So we'll have to work out the final numbers on this deal. But, you know, this is an example of a very nice car with a lot of potential that just wasn't cared for. It was neglected. There's been some obvious modifications to it, I can see. I love that panoramic roof, though. I love it on silver, too, by the way. But he's done some things to it, the previous owner. I mean, he switched out the regular halogen bulbs with some LEDs, and that's why they're blinking. He's painted this right here with a graphite metallic color. It's hard to see maybe with the camera, but there you go. It's not black, it's like a graphite color. The wheels are nice. Those are a nice touch. Those are AMG wheels. Those are nice. The tail lights have been replaced for this year, 2002 and 2003. It did not come with those tail lights, so that's a nice upgrade. So the car does have potential, guys. It just needs a real person who knows these cars and knows what to do with it to get it right. I drove this here after it got dropped off at the house. I drove it here to put it in storage because we have to wait for the Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers to come in. They were ordered late, so I have a lot going on at the house, so I couldn't have this car sitting there in the way. I probably have about 9 cars at the house right now. I'll show you one of my other projects that I just took on. But there's a lot of stuff going on, guys, with these Mercedes, and customers or clients, they want their cars back on the road. And so they want somebody who knows what they're doing to put in that work to help them out. And well, I just happen to be that guy. Brandon Green, owner of Gold Element Autoworks. I've been doing this for a long time, guys. And I guess as I decided to open up my world, my personal life to the world, I get things like this all the time. Cars that need work. People that want to put their cars back on the road, man. I think the AC, I think it's working. I don't know why that light is on though. This is broken. It's going to be repaired. You see they put tape on it trying to make it hold. So I don't know. We'll see what I can do, man. It needs a lot of work, but I'm the man for the job. I just have to be compensated properly. All right. Oh, that's cute. All right, guys, more to come. This is just the beginning. Stay in touch. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Why say it so aggressively? Peace out. Why? Because I'm irritated. Golly. This is a Mercedes, man. Take care of it. You know, I'm not blaming the guy who sent it my way. It was the previous owner. Some people just don't deserve Mercedes, I tell you. Now, hey guys, I'm going to see if you guys can hear me through the knocking of this ABC pump inside there. It's making all that noise. These ABC pumps, man, I tell you, they can be a wonderful thing and a horrible thing. They can pressurize a dynamic active body control suspension and make your car handle and drive like nothing else. Or it can cause this kind of bull crap and cause the owner to have to go to the Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers to get rid of that problematic ABC suspension. When it fails horribly. Anyways, now this Mercedes SL500 is not in good condition. It's very sick. I would compare it to a very ill COVID-19 having patient. I don't know, man. Arthritis, COVID. I wouldn't say cancer yet. I'm not that far. I wouldn't say cancer. This might be fixable. We'll see. But we have some other issues going on with this SL500. This came from out of town, from Maryland, in order to get a, let me roll these windows up, I can't even hear. In order to get the ABC suspension removed and to get adjustable coilovers installed. Now, I have run into a serious issue when driving this car. The transmission is not shifting. The transmission is not shifting. It's not going out of first gear. So I'm not able to get this thing above, I don't even push it above maybe 25. I think maybe I went maybe 3,000, what would that be? 30,000 RPMs. I'm not sure if I even went that high because it was very easily noticeable that it was not shifting at it first. That will cause excessive heat to the transmission and also the engine because it's not able to drop it to that next gear. Now I tried to do it manually. I had it in drive. I was going over, tapping it over to go like up a gear, but of course that would not work. This does not have the capability of dropping it manually into second gear. This does not have that feature. So it's electronically shift capable if it's working, but it's not working. So I'm using this MB2 car, no, is it iCar Soft MB2 scanner. It's a more thorough scanner than most scanners that's out there that you can get like for cheap. But this thing costs what, about 150 bucks. And it gives you a nice, thorough enough information to be able to diagnose your car and have an idea of what's going on with it. Now, looking at the transmission, let me go back. Now, let me see. I'm looking right now at the transmission control module, and I'm taking a look at a couple things. Obviously, there's an issue with the transmission. Now, the instrument cluster is not showing what gear I'm in. I think I should be seeing that on there when it's in drive and whatever. I should be able to see when I'm able to shift it into the next gear when I'm trying to manually activate it with the electronic shifting capability, but it's not. So that's current and stored. That's a major issue. I think right there on the left hand side is when I should be seeing what gear I'm in. I think I have to double check my SL, but it's blinking for a reason. It's looking for a signal that it's not receiving. It's looking for information to display that it's not receiving. Here, and this is the cause. I have to define what this means because it's pointing me in a direction. What is this? What does this mean, guys? I'll do some research. But yeah, before I move forward with this coilover job, I want this gentleman to know that his transmission is not shifting, and he has to make a decision. I'm sorry for that, guys. I have to let the gentleman know that his transmission is not shifting. He has to make a decision whether he wants to move forward with a coilover conversion or what does he want to do? Because he just bought this car, I think for $4,500 from a private owner, and this private owner was not obviously honest with him. This is a perfect example of why you should be careful buying a used car from anybody. But especially a private owner, because they know their vehicles. They know it. And they decide to hide certain things from you. And so that's why you have to do your research. You have to bring a scan tool. You have to really go through your vehicle and make sure this vehicle, the potential purchase, you have to really go through it thoroughly and make sure that you know what you are buying. It doesn't really help that sellers or owners of vehicles and sellers are trying to get rid of problems, and they're hiding and they're lying and manipulating the whole sale process. I hate that. I like honesty. I prefer buying from private owners, but an honest private owner, that's the key. So I'm going to contact him and let him know what's going on with his SL500, and he has to decide what he wants to do. Does he want to fix this thing? Does he want me to? Well, see, I don't fix transmissions, okay? Like, if this is a personal vehicle, I'm going to go above and beyond to make sure that my vehicle is working right, whatever it requires, all right? Whatever is needed. But Go Down to Autoworks is specializing in coilover conversions. I'm not taking on other people's projects because I have business that I've continued to run. And this right here would consume a lot of my time. So I'm going to contact him and see what he wants to do. And if we can work something out, fine. If not, this might have to get shipped back to Maryland. Maybe I'll do the coilover conversion and get rid of this loud knocking ABC pump, put a standard power steering pump in there, put the coilovers in, get rid of the ABC suspension, and it starts up and drives good enough to load back onto a tow truck or to a transport vehicle. So maybe that's the move. But let me contact him and figure this out. Now, also regarding the electronic selector module, if I hit that, I'm seeing this current and stored code. So this is important to know as well. The next one doesn't show me anything. So that's relevant and relative to this issue. Now, the check engine light is on. Let's see why. Now, I've also learned that ESP can also indicate something because it has a lot to do with the rotational, I guess, action of your vehicle regarding the wheels, the transmission, all that stuff communicates with each other. So there could also be something here that's giving me some indication or point me in the right direction. So let's see. All right, that doesn't really seem important. Steering angle. Whenever you have a dead battery, you start the car or give it a jump or whatever, you have to reset that. Okay, related to the ABC control module. So communicates with the control unit N51/2. So that, let me see, that I've seen this N51 earlier. Now this right here might be important. Now, if you have a sensor that's not reading, it's not going to allow the transmission to know when to shift and how to shift or whatever. It could be a sensor beyond the transmission, dealing like I said, the rotation of the wheels, the turning of the wheels. So if there is a sensor that's not reading, it could also be telling the transmission not to shift because it's not sending the information that the transmission needs to know when to shift. So that might be important. It says stored, but I bet you if I start driving this thing, I bet you it'll be current and stored, because that's only going to read when the wheels are spinning. So while looking around at this Mercedes, the interior, and no diss to the current owner because he has nothing to do with this, guys. This was the previous owner. Honestly, this is something that you have to consider when you're buying a used car. You have to look at the details of how it was taken care of. Now, in this case, you have a broken glove box. It's hanging down, right? Now, inside of here is a latch. Rather, it's a metal U-shaped piece, right? And this right here is the latch that attaches it to. As you go like this, it attaches itself, and you hit this button right here, and it releases it, right? Here's the latch. Here's the little metal piece that catches. Now, it's gone, apparently, all right? It's gone. It's in there. You can hear it. It's inside of there. Why wouldn't you just take this apart, fix it, reattach it, whatever you have to do to resecure it so that it works? Instead, what did this owner do? He put a piece of black tape to try to hold it in place, and he spray painted over it to try to make it blend or match. This dash is a gray, a charcoal gray. He used a gloss black spray paint. A gloss black spray. He painted his Mercedes dash to try to hide the tape. Oh my God! Stop ghettoing out your Mercedes. This is a Mercedes. Come on, guys, do better. Come on. All right, so looking at my personal SL500, I realized that to the left, it should show my mileage and accumulated trip miles. And to the right, it should show the temperature, but it should also, below that, show what gear I'm in. It should show drive, neutral, whatever. It's not showing that either. Something's going on here, man. This thing's jacked up. I don't know why. There's a lot of jacked upism going on here. And what is this? Service brake? Like, this thing's ragged. I mean, I'm sorry. This thing needs a lot of help. Alright, so now I'm in reverse. Of course, it's not showing that I'm in reverse. And I'm looking at, I'm in the, where am I at? Alright, transmission control module. Looking for data stream. Alright, so real-time information and data. Let's take a look. Now, I'm going in reverse. I'm about to start backing out. And so I should start seeing these numbers change. I'm backing up now. I am going in reverse, and I should start seeing some numbers change. Okay, so there is communication to the transmission. I think the wheel speed sensors are showing what they are supposed to show, because that could be relevant. Not going far, I'm just going to go around, just see what I can see on this scanner. Alright, so those are reading appropriately, yes? Alright, let's go back. We already know that this is not working. See, it doesn't even know what gear I'm in. I'm in drive, but the car doesn't know that. Okay. Next, solenoid valves. Status of shift valves, not present. So that's not changing. Emergency running, like limp mode. Yes. It's like manually putting it into reverse, neutral. You see how hard it bumps in to gear? That's an issue. So the car is not communicating. The shifter is not properly communicating with the transmission in order for it to effectively shift and know what gear it's in. There's no communication with this gear shifter in the transmission. Why? So like I said, the car will not shift. Why? I don't know. I have to do some research. Oh, this thing feels horrible. Sorry for the bouncing, guys, but it's still on damaged or broken ABC suspension. So these struts are just bouncing around as they do. No dampening. Oh, God, it's horrible. God, I hate ABC when it fails. I hate it. But this car has bigger problems than just ABC suspension right now. And I hope that I can help him, point him in the right direction. All right, guys, so this car has more issues than originally noted. Not only does it have failed ABC, not only does it have a loud knocking ABC pump, but also the car will not shift. It's currently in drive, but it will not go above 20 to 30 miles per hour. It will not shift out of first gear. When your car is stuck in first gear, first off, you don't drive it hard. You don't push it to its highest speed, because at some point the transmission will begin to overheat, and then we'll get you'll get the burnt oil or the transmission fluid. You'll start damaging the transmission and also the engine, because the transmission is connected to the engine, and the engine is not able to run at optimal condition because the RPMs are too high, and the transmission is supposed to shift it down, the RPMs down, so that the engine does not over rev. And so you'll have a overheating transmission, which you do not want, because the internals and the components will start to break down prematurely once that fluid is burnt, and you'll have contamination and all kind of issues. That's this ABC suspension, guys. It's real bouncy because it has failed. But you'll also get a overheating engine. So you can damage both transmission and engine if you try to drive a car too fast with a transmission that does not shift. Now let's see what I have going on over here. Yeah, that's right. Up the street, I have some vehicles that are parked because I don't have enough room in my own driveway. Now this right here is an SL500 that came from Maryland. It needs a lot of work. It needs the suspension replaced with adjustable coilovers. Matter of fact, the transmission is not shifting. It's not reading the shifter position. So, unfortunately, that's, I'm not gonna say a common problem, but it's not unheard of on the SL, where the shifting module or mechanism needs to be replaced. So it's sitting here until I get time to go ahead and do the coilover swap and see what I can figure out with that transmission. Now this right here is the SL600. I had to start this thing up because it's been sitting over here in this driveway, and also this S55. I had to start this up. Beautiful cars, but I just am very busy, so I have not had time to get this to where I wanted to be. Now, as you can see, I did change the wheels. These are the factory AMG wheels off of the SL500. I put these on there because these factory AMG wheels, the 5-star, the tires are shot. So I had to get those off of here just so I could drive it. But yeah, these cars are over here in my neighbor's driveway because my neighbors love me. I swear they do. I swear they do. So I had to let this thing idle for about 20 minutes or so. All right, these batteries will die if you don't charge them up or keep them running or keep them on a trickle charger.
They begin to see enrollment decline. They cut the majors. That makes even fewer people want to come. And so,
all right, so you got to start them up every now and then. There we go. All right, guys. So back to what I was doing. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. So I removed the old ABC pump. And when I removed the old ABC pump, I realized that the bolts that secured the ABC pump to the engine block, they have been, they were loose. They were pretty much just hanging out. The two front bolts that are in the front, which are normally these two right here, instead it was like one of these right here and one of these. They literally just fell out. They were not even screwed in. And the reason why is because there's damage to those holes that those two bolts run into to secure it to the engine block. If I get down there and show, it's kind of hard to see, but that one right there is stripped. The bolt runs through and it just keeps spinning. Also, the one right here, you can't really see it, but let me see. There's another one right there. That thing is stripped. Now, I tried to put a nut on the backside, but there's not enough room for that size bolt to have a nut on the backside. So I have to figure that out. Also, there's supposed to be two connections back here that allow you to secure this pump in the rear. One of those connections is there, but the other one is broken off. The other one would have been right here. That's broken off. So now I only have one solid point to run a bolt through and connect it to this pump. The two in the front, as of now, I cannot use the standard bolts that it originally came with. Those are stripped. Now you can put some thread lock on them, but you're risking them backing out over time. This one looks like it already has some thread lock on it. It didn't work. So I have an issue here. I have to figure out how to secure this pump, this new standard power steering pump. The ABC pump was not secure. It was not in there. It was not being held on properly. It was secured by what? I think the rear, this right here is what kept it secure. This rear bracket, I think that was it. Because the two in the front were not keeping it in place. And of course that hard line on the backside, that ABC line also provided some tension. But now with that no longer being needed, and that rear bracket not being needed, that rear brace, I gotta figure out how to do a 3-point connection for this pump. And whoever had this thing previously, man, they really tore some stuff up. They were not honest about this car. They sold it to the new owner, without revealing to him that it has been poorly maintained, that the transmission doesn't shift, that the ABC was poorly maintained and it was bootlegged together. I mean, goodness, man. I hate owners like that. Not the newest, but the previous. I hate it when these Mercedes are neglected and bootlegged and just disrespectful like this one, man. I hate that. Because not only does it put more burden on me doing the coilover conversion, but for the owner. I mean, he's not getting what he paid for. He was misled. He was lied to. That sale was total manipulation, man. And I hate that. People work hard for their money, and I hate for people to be screwed over like that. It's just not right. It's just not right. So if you guys are selling a car, I mean, dang, man, try to reveal as much as you can. Be honest and upfront as much as possible. Golly, people work hard for their money to just give it away to you. I know greed and you just want to get rid of a problem or a project, but man, just try to be a little bit more honest, because stuff like this makes it difficult for everybody, you know? Sucks. But I'll figure it out. I'll use my my experience and my imagination and some engineering and some creativity to make this work somehow. I'll figure it out. Alrighty, so what I did was run a smaller bolt through, and I added on the back side. Well, I put a locking washer on the front. I needed a spacer, but instead I just used a nut right there. And then I used a nut on the back side. See if I can get in there good enough for you to see that. I can't even see it. Oh, there it goes. Okay, there's a nut on that. There goes that nut. All right, so that's how I secured the top. Now the bottom, okay, so now the bottom, I used thread lock again with another screw right there. And the back side, I used a bolt rather, the star bolt in the back to secure it. So as of right now, it is secured by a 3-point system. again, with these pumps, you cannot just do two. You definitely can't do one. You need three. Four is even better. If I had that lower part, if it hadn't broken off on the back side, then I would have done that. I would have done two in the back, one in the front. I have personally experienced this, not to this degree, but if you are not careful, in my early installs, I've experienced the stripping of the lower bolt. The top, not so much, but the bottom, I've seen where people have done the ABC pump removal and reinstalls and have stripped those threads. You got to use thread lock. You got to use either the heavy duty or the permanent. You can break the permanent with enough heat, tension, whatever. Last thing you want to do is break the bolt inside of there. So I recommend the heavy duty one, which is this one right here. It says heavy duty. There it goes. But you got to do something, you know. You got to get this pump to hold in the engine, because there's a lot of pressure on there from the rotation of that belt. So you got to make sure it's secure. So be careful, guys, when you do these coilover installs or these pump removals or whatever. Make sure that you do it the right way. Make sure that you don't do irreversible damage. Be careful when removing that bolt. Make sure you pull that idler pulley, tensioner pulley back. That one. Make sure that you pull it back to get that bolt out. Make sure you keep pressure on that. Don't let that thing pop back loose on you, because it will hit that bolt and it will do damage to the threading or the bolt itself, and also to the idler pulley. So be careful. All right. Yeah, so the pump is now secured, and now I'm going to reattach the reservoir using the same clip right here, this tensioner clip that holds this rubber tube to the top of the power steering pump. These right here hold good enough. You have to make sure this is pushed back all the way onto here. This is designed for the top reservoir that snaps onto it with a C-clip to secure it. We're not doing that. I use that on the CLs and the S classes, but on the SLs, I just use the pre-existing reservoir. All right. You can still use the same rubber hose and the same clamp right here. All right. Use the same tensioner clamp, spring-loaded clamp. It works. All right. So this Mercedes, this SL, the coilover conversion is done. Now, there's a lot more that needs to be done to this car. That's why I have not cleaned it up. It's not ready to go back to the customer. Now, initially, my only objective, my only job related to this vehicle was to do the coilover conversion. It has become more than that. It has quickly developed into a project. Now, I'm not complaining, but these SLs, I take them in from out of town and here locally to only do coilover conversions. A lot of people, a lot of Mercedes owners, in this case, this was a new purchase, so he was a new owner and very unfamiliar with his vehicle, not sure what all it needed. So in this case, he bought it not knowing how bad it was, not knowing the extent of the issues. Now, I'll go over some of these issues with you guys. The first and most important issue is the transmission is not shifting. So what I have discovered through a little bit of research is that there is ECM, or there's some type of module related to the shifter that has a couple soldering points on the circuit board that when they become desoldered or there's cracks in the solder, a loss of connection, then that lack of conductivity causes it to not read what gear it is in. It communicates with the transmission. It's a go-between between the engine and the transmission. The shifter tells it what position it's in. Already, I know that that's an issue. The two codes that are given, I can't recall right now, but I'll look them up again to remember, and maybe I'll add that to this video. But those codes that come up in the with the scanner indicate that is the issue, that this module in particular will not communicate and say what gear it's in. That being the case, the car will not shift out of first gear. It's stuck in first gear. Now, worst case scenario, I said, well, it needs a transmission. That's just me talking in general. But specifically, put your scanner onto the vehicle, read what the codes are, do your research, look them up, and they'll point you in the right direction 99% of the time. So that's the issue with this one, is that little module needs to be fixed. Now that can be a cheap fix if you know somebody who can do that. If you're doing it yourself, do the math. You have to get access to it, which I believe you have to take the center console apart, the shifting mechanism or whatever. You have to get down in there, I think, to get access to it, pull it out, take it apart, figure out where that break is in the solder, and fix it. So this is an issue that you can do yourself if you're able to do it, or pay somebody, a professional, to do it. You cannot buy a used one and just throw it in. The car will not shift. It will not start, I think. It won't even communicate with the vehicle. So everything has to be harmoniously in sync. It has to communicate with the ECM, ECU, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. So you cannot just buy one and throw it in. Now, if you have, I think, an eccentric or a star, then you can likely program a used one to the vehicle. But without that, just fix the existing one, all right? And that should fix it. Now, as I walk around and you look at this car in detail, you can see some cosmetic issues. This right here, I have no idea what that is. But whatever it is, they tried to do a blend job. They didn't fix the dent. They could have just used some Bondo, some fiberglass compound or whatever, some filler, sand it down real nice and smooth, and then paint the whole door. But instead, they did look like they sprayed the heck out of it with some spray paint until it built up enough where they were satisfied. They tried to do a blend job. But it's obvious that these silvers do not blend. It doesn't matter if it's the same color or not. Once you spray on top of silver, it's going to be obvious, because there's a deep metallic to this, and it's also a clear coat, and it's also aged with time, with the sun and whatever. It's not going to be the same silver as off the showroom floor or the original paint code. It's going to be slightly lighter typically. So you have to know what you're doing. So that cosmetically is bad. I can see here that they painted this. That's cool, whatever, like a graphite gray. That's what they wanted. I don't know why, but that's what they wanted. The door handles are missing that, both sides. That's the button that, opens and locks and unlocks the door. There's some cosmetic issues there where it looks like this was pried open for some reason. As you can see there, it started to rust because that paint has been broken, compromised. This is the silliest thing I've ever seen in my life. You can see here that they applied tape trying to keep this closed, and then they spray painted black paint over it to try to blend the tape with the car. Goofy, very silly, very silly. There's a metal piece in here that's supposed to stick up here and catch this latch right here, and which secures it. You press that button right there to release it. Well, it broke off. It can be fixed, it can be repaired, but you have to take this apart to get access to that piece that's bouncing around in there, and just fix it. Fix it from the inside so that it works the way it's supposed to work. This right here is bullcrap. Let's see, what else is wrong with this car? And I'm only going over this because the customer wants me to fix a bunch of stuff on the car to prepare it for a gift for his daughter. So these are things that have to be addressed. The suspension was not working, of course, so I already did a coilover swap. The ABC pump was making all kind of loud, crazy noises, so I had to pull that out, okay? And put the standard power steering pump in, and of course the coilovers. This right here has to be replaced. It looks like it just screws on, but whatever. I have to, fix that, replace that. The grill also is busted up. Got to put a new grill on it. The fog light trim, the mesh, that's missing. Got to replace that. This is cracked. Also, the LED lights that were used in place of the halogen bulbs, they're all faulty. So it's throwing all kind of codes. I think one of the HID bulbs might be out. Not sure if the top works. I'm not even going to try it. That's none of my business. Most importantly is that transmission. Got to get that transmission working, guys. Got to get that transmission working. So, This has become my personal project, and that's the only reason why I'm going through it so thoroughly and explaining it on video. Otherwise, you know, people's personal vehicles, I don't really go into detail about things that are wrong because that's up to them to fix it. But this has become my problem, and so now it is now my video content that I'm explaining to you all that you have to be careful when you buy used cars. You have to pay attention, do your research, know what you're buying. I'm going to assume that this gentleman really had no idea that this car had these issues. And I hate that he was, you know, fooled in that way. I'm going to assume that he was taken for granted. He just didn't know. I assume that. You see, that's a telltale sign that there's something wrong with the transmission communication with the vehicle and the information from the module. As soon as you put that thing in drive, it jerks real hard. Yep, you know? So this is not a case of limp mode. This is a case of the transmission just doesn't know what gear it's in. Limp mode is typically when on the conductor plate, one of the speed sensors goes out and the car, there's a lack of communication regarding your speed. It goes into limp mode to protect itself, and it doesn't allow you to go over second gear. That is not the case here. This stays in first gear. It will not shift in the second. This is not limp mode. It just keeps going. Never shifts into the next gear. So it's safe to drive in first gear only. You don't want to try to push it and let them RPMs go up, because what it will do is it will heat up that transmission, heat up that engine. You don't want to do that. Now you need a new engine and transmission. So keep your RPMs down. If you have to go on a public road, turn the hazard lights on. Just drive slow. So I'm putting this back in the garage. I have more work that needs to be done to it, obviously, but the coilovers are complete, so that's good. Coilovers are done. All right. I'm waiting for the other parts to arrive. I ordered a bunch of stuff for this car. And until those parts come, this part will be sitting in the garage. So this is the thing. This is why I don't really take on projects like this other than coilovers, because this is in the way of other work that I have to get done. Of course, I could pull this out if need be, but it is an extra car that's sitting here that I don't need sitting here. Once the coilovers are done, the car needs to be gone. So, you know, that's just how business is sometimes. He understands. I communicate with the customer, let them know what I expect regarding the extra work, the unexpected work. And it's just, I guess I gotta do what I gotta do, you know, to help him out, but also to keep business, you know. So I got my work cut out for me. Oh, let's see. All right. All right, so more updates on the way as I make progress regarding these issues. But the suspension is done. It's routine for me at this point. I do them all the time. It's no big deal. It's going to drive and handle the way I expect it to. I'll put it to the test once the transmission is working again. But as of right now, 17 in the back, dampening settings, 21 in the front. All right. The car feels the way it's supposed to feel. Just driving at a low speed. That coilover conversion is done. More updates regarding what else needs to be done to this car to get it up and running and my progress. All right. If I'm able to figure out the transmission for him, cool. If not, it's going to be shipped right back to Maryland with the transmission in the current state that it's in. But if I can help him out, I will. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, so I'm dealing with this 2003 SL500. There's tons of issues with it. It was shipped to me with only the intent, from my perspective and my understanding, and from what was explained to me, that all I have to do is put the coilovers in here, get rid of the ABC, the active body control suspension, and install Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers. So I did that. But once I realized that this car does not shift out of first gear, and it has tons and tons of issues. It has tons of issues. Check engine light is on, of course. You have a brake light that's on. You have the battery light that's on. Well, that's common. You have the ESP that's on. That's not common, so that's an issue. Again, it doesn't shift. I had to replace a bunch of bulbs and rewire some things because the previous owner had LED lights hooked up, which require resistors and rewiring to incorporate the resistor into the circuit so that the car, Mercedes, the module doesn't realize that it is that there's an LED in place. And so the reason why that has to happen is because the car looks for a certain amount of current draw, and LEDs do not draw a lot of current. So you have to add a resistor to compensate for the lack of current draw. You add resistance to the circuit in order to trick the modules. Well, it works sometimes, most of the time it doesn't. So in order to change it back to standard halogen bulbs, remove the resistors, because that's just, it creates or generates a lot of heat, and it just it adds unnecessary draw to the OEM circuit. So cut those off, remove those, and take those the exposed wire, and then of course just put a halogen bulb back in. So I did that to the brights, which means I had to take bulbs of my own, new bulbs, and put them in there, and also not the marker lights on the side, but the daytime, not the daytime lights, but they're the lights on the inner lights, whatever, the little smaller wedge bulb. I can't think of what that exact bulb is called, or that headlight placement. So anyways, I still have to do the fogs. I think he did those, and also the marker lights, the orange lights on the corner lights. All right, whatever. Now, that's my little rant regarding that. This right here was broken. I got it to latch back, but not all the way, because it really has to be disassembled, and that piece that's wobbling around, I mean, I got it to do that, but I had to kind of just rig it up so that it at least holds, because this is not what I signed up to do. This has to be done, this whole thing has to come out, and this is glued. Like Mercedes, when they snap these things into place, this cover right here, there are no screws that allows it to pop off. There's these little clips, and they glue it. So this right here is designed to never come off. So I'd have to break those tabs and also the glue in order to get to that piece. Now, I'm not willing to do that because I'm not willing to take responsibility for if that thing gives issues in the future. I did it so that it held up, so that it doesn't require tape, right? I'll try to remove that spray paint off of there. But I have to be careful because this is not my car, and I do not take on other people's projects to this extent without full disclosure and agreement, and also signing something indicating that you gave me this vehicle in this condition, with the hopes that I'm able to fix and repair certain things to a certain, I guess, expectation. So that was not done prior to. So I'm only doing what I want to do. All right, and it's just what it is, man. Go down to my Autoworks. Yes, I can customize, specialize, and all type of different things and modifications to these vehicles, but it has to be agreed upon. I'm not taking on other people's projects, stuff that needs a lot of work without me, being fully aware of what I am accepting, and that was not the case. So, excuse me, I just had to get that off my chest. Now, I'm using this really cool scanner that I received from the company. This right here is really a cool scanner. I mean, I think this is the best. I was really promoting or pushing the iCarsoft NB scanner, but this right here takes the cake. Touch screen, all type of cool features. Now, it reads your car, reads the VIN number without you having to manually put it in. It's a very thorough test going through every circuit of your vehicle and letting you know what's what. So I did a health check, and these are all the issues that comes up. There's tons of them. Slow the video down if you want to see these. I'm going too fast. This is insane. Oh man. Hey, my arm hurts from holding this thing. Hold on. Whew. Well, this is a lot. And that's it. Golly. That's a lot. Now, the one that I'm most concerned about, because a lot of this stuff is just, it could be old stored faults, could be current faults, but I know what is current is this daggone transmission not shifting. So you see what the code is on here. Alright, so these two codes are common when your car will not shift. Some situations, this right here, this whole mechanism needs to be replaced. And in some situations, there is it's not an ECU, ESM. That's the ESM. I think it's the ESM. I don't know. But there's something that has some bad welds or solder points, and they have to be. It has to be resoldered. So I don't know, guys. This is I'm going to say beyond my expertise. This would be me experimenting. This would be me doing something I've never had to do before. And am I comfortable doing that? Not really, because I didn't agree. I didn't agree to it up front. So I don't know, the liability that comes along with that. I don't know. I feel pity for him because he bought this without knowing what he was buying, but that's not my problem. So I have to decide what I want to make my problem, and I'm still on the fence regarding this one. I don't know. It stays in first gear, it drives, but it just doesn't shift. So I could call the transport company, have them come pick it up, drop it off at his house. It'll drive right onto that tow truck, and it will come right off that tow truck right to his driveway. So what's the best move? I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me look at this engine control module real quick. Why is there a check engine light on? Then the ESP. Steering angle is not initialized. Well, let me just do this because it's had a dead battery. See if that clears the ESP code. That's the steering angle. That's typically how you reset the ESP. If that's the cause or if that's the issue. Let's see if it still comes up. Windshield washer, of course. Let's see it. All right, so that might have fixed the ESP. Simple fix. Got code search. Look at that. Man, that's cold. Shoot. Let me take a look at this other thing then. Hold on. This transmission code. Let me take a look at this. Oh, it is the internet. Actuation test. Yeah, so this scanner is pretty cool. You have to know what you're doing, practice, play with it, and it's pretty cool. You can see a whole lot of things. But I will have to do my research on this code again. I already looked up some stuff, and so it's pointing me in the direction where either this has to be replaced, or I believe it to be the ECM has to be taken apart. It's a module. Take it apart. Check for continuity, I guess. See if there's conductivity on that particular circuit, the common issue on that circuit board, and either fix it or just let them know, hey, that's the problem. Go get it fixed. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make a decision. All right. Let me figure this out. So I just cleared the fault codes, the stored ones, and I want to only see the current codes, the active codes. And so by doing that, a lot of them cleared. But here go the current ones. So those are the current codes right here. So we still have the transmission issue. All right, here it is. It's cleaned up. It's Still needs a little bit of sprucing and detailing, but in general, it's cleaned up. The exterior has all the bird poop and all the dirt removed. It's a nice looking car. The SL in its natural form is a beautiful looking car. This has the upgraded AMG style wheels. It's a very nice car. It really is. It really is. It does need, like I said, a couple more things done to it. I do have everything working for the most part. The transmission is shifting now. It's a nice car. It just needs, like I said, some details to the interior. Has a couple flaws on the exterior that is going to require some money being spent to fix. Driver's side looks pretty good, but we're talking about on the passenger side. There's a noticeable dent that someone, instead of repairing properly, just hit it with a bunch of spray paint over and over again, trying to thicken it up so that it will blend and look decent, but they could have done better. You can see the runoff from the paint. But this is somebody's first car. This is a daughter's first car, so it's really going to be quite an experience for her. I mean, this kind of power for her first car, this type of look, the SL just really looks good. This is a beautiful car. It has a panoramic roof, and I'm not even sure if the convertible top works. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, so what? The car still looks great. I mean, I wish my parents would have got me this for my first car. I fix everything myself, you know, over time. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. But yeah, transmission is working now. It still needs a couple little things. It needs the temp sensor, the ambient temp sensor. It's just some wires hanging down that I tucked back up and secured, but I need to add a temperature sensor to that so that it will read on the dash. That's why I have those lines on the dash on the left side of the instrument cluster, because it's not able to tell me the temperature. And that's important also because of the air conditioning. That also goes by the outside temperature. It will increase if the outside temperature is hotter. It will vary the bars, the pressure, and also the blowout. All right. That climate control module adjusts. I'm not gonna say the bars, but the pressure. I guess the airflow changes. I think the AC compressor stays where it's set. It fluctuates between like 11 and 13 bars. But the climate control module has adaptation capabilities regarding the outside temperature, is what I'm trying to say. So that needs to work for that climate control to operate the way it's supposed to. It also needs some windshield wipers. If I turn these wipers on, it makes a mess. So I need to go ahead and take care of that as well. Probably put some new wipers on here. These right here you can order. Either they can do it or I will. I don't know if I have the car long enough. Those little rubber things right there. So everything works now. I think I need to put a new battery in the key card. This right here, let me see. It works, but I can tell that it's starting to die. Also, the dash is telling me to change the battery out. So you have to pop that back cover off right there and put a battery. It might be like a 2025 or something like that. Little flat battery. This is in place. This was missing when I first got it. I changed out the lights, fog lights, license plate lights, side marker lights, all that stuff. I still have to change the, what is it called? Up under this headlight right here, because you have HID lights, and it's a transformer in effect, but I'm trying to think of what it's called. I can't think of it right now. What is that thing called? It'll come to me. But the thing that attaches to the underside of the headlight, I have to change that out. That amplifies the signal, converts it so that your HIDs will work. Why can't I think of that? Oh yeah, the ballast. Okay, that's what it is. The HID consists of the bulb itself and also the ballast. The ballast amplifies the signal to a high voltage, enabling the HID headlight bulb to light up. And so it's getting like a blinking. Sometimes it comes on full charge. Sometimes it does not. It just blinks. So typically that transformer is faulty, not the light itself. If the light is bad, the light is bad. If it's blinking and acting erratic, then typically it's the ballast itself. Those are pretty expensive too, by the way. But those attach on the underside of the headlight. So this has the coilovers. This has the Silver Neomax coilovers. No more ABC. Now I'm getting that sensor acting up right there because that license plate holder that is in the tow hook threaded connection is throwing off that right sensor. So might need to remove that. That's irritating. You're going to keep hearing that beeping every time I slow down. All right. Now let's see what this bad boy does. I already know what to expect. It's on adjustable coilovers. I can already predict how it handles. But yeah, it now has a reliable suspension system. And that's what this is all about, right? That's what Gold Element Autoworks is all about, making the Mercedes affordable to the common person. And even if you have a lot of money, do you want to keep spending money on the same problem? Nah, because that's not how you got money. You did not get money, attain money, maintain money, and keep money by throwing money at the same problem. Ain't nothing worth that. I assume if you have money, you're smart. And you know how to keep it. And you know where to put it, where to spend it. You don't foolishly waste it. You do spend it on what's most important to you. So if in your eyes, keeping an SL factory in stock is the most important thing, I respect it. If you feel like, hey, I want to keep it original, I like ABC, active body control suspension. I like a hydraulic fluid suspension, no matter how often it fails. That's what I want. I respect it. That's what's up. But we all know that everyone doesn't think that way. Some people want to spend money on something that's more advantageous, on something that's more practical, reasonable, and reliable. And we know that ABC does not fit that full description. ABC is cool, but it is not reliable. Go that right there. It's going to keep happening because of that plate that's covering the sensor. Well, at least I know the sensors work, so that's good. But yeah, this car is fine now, guys. Transmission is shifting properly now. I just want to get this thing back home to the rightful owner. There's some logistical issues that I'm waiting to be resolved, and also some monetary issues that I'm waiting to be resolved. Guys, you guys know how much I charge for this coilover conversion. I charge $2,500 if it's a 2002 through 06. If it's a 07, I charge $2,800, 07 through 11, because of the extra steps and work that I have to put in to get it right. To get rid of the ABC code, you cannot just pull a fuse. You have to actually get it coded out the module. And so because of that, I have to pay somebody because I don't have the star system, which is required in order to get that done properly. So without the star system, you will still have the red ABC warning on the dash. We don't want that. We don't want that. This car needs some gas. I'll probably put some gas in here. So yeah, I'm spending money on my own to get this thing right at this point. I have not been compensated for all the extra work that I'm doing. And so I am waiting for that. And once that's done, then this car will be shipped out. So the, let me see, the grill, I replaced that grill. That original grill that was on here was all busted up and broken up. So I pulled that off. Put a nice gloss black with the chrome emblem grill on here. It's looking real nice. Yeah, baby. It's shifting. That's what we want, baby. That's what we want. Car drives good, man. His daughter will be pleasantly pleased, I guess, surprised and happy, you know. Here we go. Man, I wish my parents bought me a Mercedes for my first car. I mean, I'd probably be too broke to maintain it. but that's smart. You know, it's pretty nice to. Well, whatever. You know, these cars you can get them for cheap. Oh yeah, that's another point I want to bring up. So you can buy these cars for a very low price now. Check Craigslist, check the internet, check Facebook Marketplace. You're seeing these cars go for the low because of the issues that they have. Now, a person like myself and many of you mechanics out there, you can buy these cars for cheap and fix them, and you're in an SL for just a couple $1,000s. Some cases under $5,000. I've seen them go for real cheap. Shoot, I've seen them go for real cheap. I've gotten them for cheap. I remember when I got my first 03 SL. It might have been 02. I was so happy to have spent $4,500 for that car. Maybe I spent $5,000. I was so happy to spend that money for that car. But now I'm seeing them all over the place for less than that. With the top not working, maybe the suspension's not working, but I'm seeing them. Now that silver one that I had, the top worked, I think. Yeah, the top worked, but the suspension didn't. So that's when I did my very first adjustable coilover conversion. Yep. But I'm seeing these cars go for cheap. So the reason why I brought that up is because of this. A lot of you guys who want to keep your car because you think that keeping it original is going to up its value, increase its value, and they're going to be worth something down the road. You won't be alive to see this car go up in value that will balance out the money that you keep putting into your ABC. So if you have $10,000 to your car, you keep putting the active body control suspension, you keep repairing the ABC suspension, keep dumping money into that. If it is problematic, for some it's worse than for others. Some people have not had to put a lot of money into it, and some people have put over $10,000 into their suspension. You're not going to see that money back, guys. It's just what it is. The value on these cars is still going down. They have not flattened out or plateaued. They are still dropping. To see the reversal of that, and for these to be worth in their 20s and 30s, is such a far-fetched goal, because we, typically the owners of these cars, are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We won't be allowed to see this happen. We just won't. It's what it is. It's all good. I am more about enjoying the car, not preserving it, hoping that it goes up in value. You buy collectors, other things for that. You buy things that are of value that are already going up, or you buy baseball cars or some crap. I don't know. You buy something else. But these cars are to be driven, because when you don't drive them, they have more problems. So you need to drive these cars. You need to increase the mileage on these cars. You need to enjoy these cars and not be caught up in the preservation of originality, OEM, purist is what I call them. You need to be more impressed by the smile on your face when you're accelerating on this car. When you get out of this car, you can turn back the locket and you can see how beautiful this thing sits in a parking lot full of ugly cars. You need to be more impressed by the satisfaction of not only owning, but enjoying your Mercedes. And that's what I'm all about. Man, I have so much fun in my SL500. Good Lord. I love driving my SL500. I'm not impressed by how low the mileage is and that it's in my driveway or in my garage covered up. I don't care about that crap. I didn't buy it for that. I bought it to drive. So that's just my rant. You guys do what you want to do, but I highly recommend that you consider seriously Gold Element Autoworks, do a coilover conversion. Let me do it for you. You know I'm gonna do it right. I've done this too many times. I know what I'm doing. Also on the backside, see a couple ways to take care of the expenditures that come along with the coilover conversion. I don't do this for free. I have to get paid for it. And you get what you pay for it. Sometimes people charge a whole lot to do this coilover conversion, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't have the experience. Well, I do. All right, so that's my sales pitch. Anyways, more work needs to be done. I'm gonna try to get rid of this nasty gloss paint that's on here. That's horrible. I'm going to change out the ballast for the headlight, also the tip sensor. That's why you're getting this right here, because it can show me a temperature. Radio works good. AC blows cold. I don't know why this AC light is on right there, but it's blowing cold. There you go. It's cold. Probably needs that temp sensor replaced though, I mean, for real. Vacuum this bad boy out. It's got some dirt in here. Just try to clean it up for him. Probably this has some tape marks right here. Is that tape? Ooh. Yeah, so there's some stuff that needs to be done to this car to finalize it, but all in all, it's a good car. It runs, it shifts, it drives, it works. I don't know about the top. I'm not gonna operate the top. No. Not putting that problem on me if there's a problem. I don't see the bacon strip right here, so it might not leak. Might be in good standing. All right, so that being the case, the top might work. I don't know, I'm not trying it. But yeah, very nice car. For somebody's first car, this is pretty impressive. Again, I appreciate you all supporting my business, hooking me up with more clients through referrals, and I'm going to continue to do what I do. All right, go to Autoworks, more work to come. Now, after I do this, I'll contact the owner and get some other things taken care of and arrange for it to be picked up. All right, guys, so this car is ready to go back to its owner in Maryland. I've been waiting for this car to get picked up. I've had this car in my possession for a few months. It's very weird how this thing actually kind of went down and played out. But there was various issues with this car upon arrival. But of course, the suspension needed to be swapped out. The ABC was already failing. The pump was making all kind of crazy noise. You heard that in the early part of this video. So the coilovers have been done. They've been done a long time ago. I was also sorting through a couple other issues. The transmission continues to go into limp mode. You have to keep resetting it with the scanner for it to shift. So that's an issue. It's not identifying the shifter position. It's 2 fault codes that keep coming up. And so just to reiterate the codes that's coming up. This is for the transmission. This is one code. And then the other code here it is, 1856. So I'm going to clear both of these. So the transmission now will shift in between gears properly, but that needs to be addressed. So with that being the case, there's more involved than what I am willing to do in order to solve that issue. And so that's going to have to be resolved in Maryland. Just as a reminder, guys, I'm promising to do coilover swaps. Anything additional, you have to converse with me before the car comes my way. If there are other issues that you want me to address, we have to discuss that and agree upon that before the car arrives here in Cincinnati. Otherwise, you're only going to get what you pay for, nothing more, nothing less. So keep that in mind. Let's have that conversation. Let's be thorough about what is wrong with the car and what you're expecting. And also make sure that the funds are available to pay for the service rendered. Anyways, this car drives very well once you reset the transmission. It drives very good. But that's an issue. Also, there's a braking issue. There's something, a fault code with the brakes, and it has something to do with, it's like a brake switch or a light or something like that that keeps coming up. But the brakes work, but that fault code keeps coming up. And there's a low beam issue for some reason. I replaced the ballast and also the light with a brand new one. And still, this driver's side low beam, the main headlight, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it might have something to do with the module. Again, this car has some issues. There's some obvious signs of neglect from the previous owner. But the owner now, he bought the car not knowing all the issues that was wrong with it. But at least the ABC is gone, and now you have an adjustable coilover suspension, and it's very reliable and stable regarding that. But yeah, unfortunately, he's gonna have to get that transmission figured out, sort it through, get that shifter module replaced. I think they said you can just resolder it. The work that I thought that I did was gonna fix it, but it's deeper than what I messed with. So there you go, guys. So let's go ahead and continue to like, share, subscribe, watch the videos, stay in touch, more content on the way. This car is about to get picked up. Looking forward to that because I have a lot of other cars that I need to continue to work on and I need room. So this car has got to go. Again, if you ship your car here to me, please pick it up within a reasonable amount of time. Don't have this car sitting here for months and months and months, because now I got to start charging for storage. You know, nothing is free out here, man. Come on. So let's be respectful, guys. Be respectful of my time and your time. Also, once the service is rendered, once the work is done, let's try to arrange to get the car picked up so it can be back in your possession and you can enjoy your beautiful Mercedes-Benz once again. So again, guys, I appreciate all your support. Let's continue to keep this growing, keep this moving. Mercedes community definitely has benefited from my content, my videos, and so is more to come. I do a whole lot of online consultation, a whole lot of over-the-phone consultation through text message. I've helped a lot of people out, and I continue to do so because that's what I enjoy doing. So if I can help you out, let me know. All right, we'll work something out. All right, guys, so as a final review, this 2003 Mercedes SL500 is ready to go back. Now, I've washed this car several times because it's been here for months. And I'm really at the point, I'm just happy for it to go. Because the longer it sits here, the more things that can happen to it, the more liability that falls upon me as the current, not owner, but it's in my possession. I am the one who took on this job in order to do a coilover conversion, so I take responsibility and liability for what happens to it while it's in my possession. It's called business, right? It's called having morals, having standards, having ethics. As a mechanic, you don't necessarily have to take on every issue that's wrong with the vehicle, but you do decide to take on the issues that you agree to take on. And in this case, this car had far more issues than what I agreed to take on. Our initial discussion was to fix one thing, and then once it was here, I noticed all the other issues, and he asked if I could fix them. I said I'll do what I can do, or what I decide to take on. But there are no promises, no guarantees other than what I give him. So the money that he spent with me was to replace the grille, the driver side, left side, headlight, ballast, and the actual bulb, right? Also the wiring for the headlights and the fog lights had to be redone. The antenna on the rear back here that was broken, replaced that. Fixed the glove box to the point where it's operational. Went through it with the scanner and recorded any other and every other issue that it had. I said that I would look into the shifter, but no promises regarding why the transmission will not shift. Other than me doing the diligent research, trying to do what I can do, and realizing that you can't clear the code, it will shift, but you have to clear the code every time it goes into limp mode. So that's an issue. So I return the car back. I will not be here when this vehicle gets picked up because I'm also a firefighter, and I'll be on duty when this car gets picked up tomorrow. So this car is going to get picked up. I'll make sure that the keys are handed to the driver, and this car is out of here. So a lot of lessons learned with taking on this project. Be very careful and be very specific and very detailed about what is expected before taking a vehicle into my possession. That is just something that I never thought that I would have to consider, something I would never have to think otherwise. You know, the way that I typically operate my business, people know what to expect, and I know what to expect from them. And also the length of time that it took to take care of this bill was not expected. So again, this car has been in my possession for months, probably 3 months, 4 months, I don't even know, longer than it should have been. So yeah, this car has got to go. So more projects on the way. I have another video that I'm gonna put out about another coilover conversion. Matter of fact, I had 2 coilover conversions during the time that this car was here that I have coming out. More videos coming out on those conversions. Also, one of these conversions that I've done, I'm actually going to do a pay to play because it shows exact detail every single step of the way of the coilover conversion. Now you're going to have to pay for that. That is a very good video to watch for those who want to learn how to do it, but you have to pay for that video. So I'll let you guys know when that hits. All right. Until then, you guys take care, man. I'm very happy to get this car done. It looks like it's probably about to rain here in Cincinnati. But yeah, I thought about washing the car again, but I just washed it 2 days ago and it's dirty again. I mean, this is what happens when it sits outside. This is what happens when the car doesn't get picked up. It just gets dirty again. But I did vacuum it out. There was a lot of dirt that was there before I got the car, and probably dirt that I added too, just going in and out this car. But the car is ready to go. The owner will enjoy it when it is running properly, but yeah, those issues need to be addressed. In particular, that transmission. So you have to disassemble the shifter, the center console, and also drop the exhaust pump underneath in order to pull that through, in order to pull it out and to get it taken care of. So that's not something I'm willing to do. So that's why I didn't do it. What I did, I thought was going to fix it, and then I cleared the codes, but that is not what fixed it. All right, guys. So you guys take care. Continue to watch my videos. I have more content coming. Thank you for watching this long video. If you watched it from beginning to end, this was not a video where I was going to show the process of coilover conversion, but instead I explained this crazy scenario with this coilover conversion. So expect the unexpected sometimes. That's not really how I like to operate, but that's what happens sometimes. All right, anyways, more content to come. This car is gone. That's the last time you'll see this car. If you want to place an order for some coilovers, you know what to do. Go to my website, www.goatmyautoworks.com. If you want to contact me directly, give me a call. Call me or text me. I'm one of the few YouTubers that you could actually call, and I'll answer the phone. Area code 513-967-8079. More content on the way. Stay in touch. Peace out.